You're listening to the all-new Grindtime Sports Talk in the Mornings with Baldhead and DB. Check us out Monday through Friday on the Grindtime Media Network.
Welcome to a Wednesday edition of Grindtime Sports in the Morning. I am your host, Baldhead. Once again, ODB. He's out sick. Lil' Cuz will be back probably tomorrow or later in the week. Or maybe next week, who knows? But either way, the show must go on. Late nights, early mornings. Welcome to the show. NBA podcast, boxing, football, just all around sports podcast in the morning, hosted by myself, hosted by Lil' Cuz when he here. But today is just gonna be me, and we're gonna kick it off with the games from last night, starting with the Suns and the Timberwolves, which to me was a pretty good game because my squad won. Anthony Edwards and the boys took it to KD and them last night. They win the game. The Timberwolves win the game 105-93. The number 3 Timberwolves. They go up 2-0 on the Suns. The Suns dropped 0-2. And it was Jaden McDaniels. He was covering Devin Booker most of the night, man. He pretty much was like a shadow on him. Wouldn't let up off of him. Made it real rough for Devin Booker. A lot of turnovers. A lot of complaining from Devin Booker last night in his 42 minutes. With 20 points, he was the top scorer for the Suns. With the 20, Bradley Beal 14 points, KD 18 points. I don't get the Suns no excuses, just like I don't get the Lakers no excuses. Too much firepower, too much talent. The Timberwolves, yeah, they're a loaded squad, and I did expect them to come in, and I expected the Timberwolves to win the series, but I expect the Suns to put up a fight. I mean, you got KD, you got Bradley Beal. You got Devin Booker, man. You can't allow Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, and Alexander Walker off the bench to be making y'all look this crazy, man. I mean, 2-0 is crazy for the Wolves to have on the Suns right now. It should be at least, I expected the Wolves to win, but I would be thinking right now this would be 1-1 because I'm like, KD isn't going to let them go down 0-2. He's not going to allow them to be embarrassed, just like I wouldn't think LeBron would allow the Lakers to be embarrassed by the Nuggets the way that they being embarrassed. But I guess it's just what's happening with the OGs in the game right now. Maybe they fading. Maybe it's a real out with the old, in with the new scenario in the NBA right now. Just like with boxing, man. I mean, I guess every day, at some point, everybody going to have their day, and it's going to be time for everybody to go. Maybe it's time for KD and them to go, man, because they look like they about to be swept. LeBron and them look like they about to be swept. I mean, it's just not looking good on either side of that. I mean, right now, Steph Curry is not even in the playoffs. So, yeah, it's just looking like it's some new superstars we all got to get used to. Got to get used to seeing Ant-Man in the playoffs playing against Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or, some of the other young men from the West or, in the East, the same thing. It's just the young stars, man. They starting to take over. They don't seem to be as starstruck about the elder players who won championships like LeBron and like Steph Curry. They don't seem to be so caught up on their stardom to the point that they don't want to compete against them and beat them. They want to beat them. They'll give them praise in the interview after the game, like Anthony Edwards called KD his favorite player, but he continued to go out there and smoke him and talk stuff to him while he on the court. And then KD and them not having a good game. Like I said, KD had 18 points yesterday. Anthony Edwards didn't have his best game, because they was focusing on him, but everybody else came to score. Mike Conley had a pretty good game, 18, 4 and 4. Alexander Walker off the bench gave you 10. 25 points from Jaden McDaniels. He actually led the Timberwolves yesterday, and he did a pretty good job of that. Karl Anthony Towns played a pretty good game yesterday, too. He had 12 and 8 rebounds. 18 points from Rudy Gobert. Like I said, that's always extra. You're going to get 12 to 20 points from Rudy. Yeah, you almost always going to win. But they don't got nobody for Rudy. The Suns don't. I mean, he was getting a lot of easy baskets last night. That's kind of what I saw from him. But, so yeah, well, I guess we'll see what's going to happen with them when they go to Phoenix, because it ain't looking good for them in Minnesota. They can get that up. It's over. They lose that, like I said, 93 to 105 to the Wolves. They ain't the only home team that lost last night. Your boy and them, or DB's boy, the Clippers, they lost. Well, they ain't his boy because he LA, but he liked the Clippers too, I believe. But the Clippers lose yesterday to my Mavericks, 96 to 93. Yeah, you know Luka and them was gonna come in and put in work after losing game one, especially the way that they were losing the game, and then they kind of came back in game one towards the end. But yesterday it wasn't nothing like that. They kind of controlled it from the start. PJ Washington played a lot better yesterday than he played in game one. He had 18 points, 32 from Luka, 23 from Kyrie, 32, 9, and 6 from Luka. He kind of controlled the flow of the game. I don't know if Kawhi Leonard is hurt actually physically, but he ain't look too good, or he just didn't look too into the game yesterday more than anything. But he played. Kyrie Irving, 23, 3 and 6. Keebler, that guy Kleebler off the bench for the Mavericks actually almost cost him the game. He had a couple of untimely turnovers in the fourth quarter, but they still ended up holding on. Paul George had 22. James Harden had 22. Kawhi Leonard only had 15, 2 assists and 7 rebounds. He looked like he was laboring a little bit. He usually don't play through injuries, so I'm actually surprised that he was out there so early. He's 13 and 12 from Zubac. He continues to be dominant on the boards, but in game one he had a better offensive game. And had he had a better offensive game last night, they probably would have won the game against the Mavericks, despite the pretty good game that they had from Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, and then PJ Washington showing up. But that's tied 1-1, so it goes to Dallas from here on out. I assume that the Mavericks actually gonna win that series, just because the Clippers known for choking, and their two superstars are kind of fragile. So I expect at some point either Kawhi Leonard to just be out, period, go ahead and check yourself all the way out, or Paul George to get hurt, because that's what happens, or just James Harden to start choking, because that's what happens. This is the second game in a row, though, that James Harden had a decent game, even though it was in a loss. He had 22 points, 8 assists, and 6 rebounds, but the bigger and bigger and bigger that the game's gonna get, the more likely it is that James Harden is gonna cost the Clippers before he help them. But yesterday he actually cost them. Pretty much all of them cost them. They just didn't play good defense on Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. So they lose that game 93 to 96 to the Mavericks. The Clippers do. We also had one more game last night. It was the Pacers and the Milwaukee Bucks, and that's the other road team that got a victory. Pacers win the game 125 to 108 over DB's Bucks. And yeah, that's what I expected. Halliburton, my guy, 22 points from Damian Lillard last night. They had it was 22 points from Brook Lopez. They had 32 points from Damian Lillard last night, and they still didn't beat the Pacers, because the Pacers one of the highest scoring teams in the league. They were regularly putting up 130, 140 points at the end of the season in their games. Them and the Lakers had a game where they almost scored 300 points. So I ain't surprised to see the Pacers come out and just shoot them out the gym. And if the Pacers come out and put up 120 points every night, like I know they're capable of doing, because they got that type of offensive firepower all the way down to their bench, from Siakam to Halliburton to Miles Turner to TJ McConnell. Yeah, if the Pacers come out and do that, man, they gonna beat them. Pascal Siakam come out and score 37 points every game, they definitely gonna beat him. He had 37, 11 rebounds and 6 assists. Tyrese Halliburton only had 12 assists though, and 4 rebounds, 20 points from Nembert, and he had Miles Turner had 22 points yesterday. TJ McConnell, he didn't play that much. That's other instant offense off the bench, but they starting lineup scored fairly well enough that I guess they just didn't need too much from the bench. They put up 125 points on the Giannis-less Bucks, and if I don't know, man, if Giannis don't come back, man, the Bucks could be in trouble. And I'm thinking, I don't know if they should fire Doc Rivers, because they just got rid of their other coach. And who they gonna bring in there? You can't keep switching the coaches out, but they're gonna have to do something if the Bucks get bounced from the playoffs, especially in the first round. It just ain't gonna look good that they had a coach that had 30 and 13 wins, or he had 30 wins and 13 losses, and then they bring in Doc Rivers and they lose all of these games, and then they get bounced in the first round of the playoffs. Yeah, to me, they'll have to consider getting rid of him, but I just don't know if they should, because it'll be their third coach in a very short period of time. But for the Pacers, it don't matter, man. The Pacers are a bomb ball club. They got Rick Carlisle as a coach. We got Halliburton kind of rounding himself back into shape. He's still not scoring like I would like to see him score, but the team overall scoring 125 points. The scoring is there, so it don't matter. The Pacers can make a pretty good playoff push. I feel like they're ready for pretty much anybody in the East, including the Boston Celtics. The Pacers score so well that's the one thing, that's the one team that I'm actually worried about Boston not being able to handle, because Boston is my favorite to come out of the East just because they played so well this year. But the Pacers are my team, so I hope they beat Boston if they have to face them. And I think they could, because they score so high. They did. And Boston ain't the greatest defensive team on the planet. And the Pacers can keep up with them scoring-wise, but Boston is the best team in the NBA, so I don't know. I just don't know if the Pacers might be able to handle them in the end. All right, and that's my show for today. Short, simple, to the point, because I don't have a co-host right now. But I'm guessing he'll be back sometime later this week. I mean, the man got sick, so what can I say? But in the meantime, in between time.
You're listening to the all-new Grindtime Sports Talk in the Mornings with Baldhead and DB. Check us out Monday through Friday on the Grindtime Media Network.
I'm going to go ahead and sign off for me and DB for another day, y'all. Until we meet again. Peace.
Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Please like, share, and don't forget to subscribe. You're listening to the all-new Grindtime Sports Talk in the Mornings with Baldhead and DB.